Hi, it's Gina, and sorry I've been gone for so long, but Christmas got in the way, and New Year's, and all of that, and I had a birthday. I got old. I wanted to do a kind of a top 10 of the things I have to have in order to make cards. These are things that I don't always list because I use them on pretty much every card. As you can see, kind of my pile here that I'm going to work through. And I have a brand new camera that my husband got me for my birthday, so hopefully things will work a little bit better. So, the first thing that is a really good ruler. I use this thing a lot. The funny thing is, I'm always losing it on my desk, so I really should have more than one of them. I only have this one. I find that a stainless steel ruler works the best. I started out with a plastic ruler, and it just didn't work for me very well. So I suggest getting a good small ruler. I use this all the time to measure stamps, to see what size they are, especially when I'm going to be making a banner to place any kind of sentiment on. I will measure real quick, and then I will take that over to my computer, and I also measure out small pieces of paper to see if they're big enough. I use this all the time. The next thing that I strongly suggest is a really good black ink. This Versafine Onyx Black I've had since I first started out. It is amazing. I love this ink. It is pigment ink. It is what I stamp the back of all of my cards with. The one thing about it is it's not great for doing watercolor over. So I actually have this little tray where I've tried some other black inks. I like the Ranger Archival ink for doing watercolor with. I wasn't a huge fan of the color box. But my go-to ink tends to be the Versafine. I especially like it because it cleans off my stamps cleanly, where the others tend to you can see with this set of stamps, I think you use color box on this one, so that's dyed black, and I used archival on this one, so that's got kind of that red tint, which is fine. It doesn't hurt the stamps at all. It just doesn't come out, doesn't clean off as nicely. So if that matters to you, it's important to keep in mind. Another thing that I use on every single card is my Scotch Advanced Tape Glider. I love this thing. This is in my hand all the time. I go through a bit of a panic when I run out of tape, but other than that, this gets used on every card. I don't know what I'd do without it. I actually got mine at Michael's and used a coupon, so and I would suggest that on pretty much anything that you can. Make sure you're utilizing Joann's or Michael's coupons or whatever coupons you can. This doesn't have to be an extremely expensive hobby. It can get expensive. So where you can, use your coupons. Another thing is the Tim Holtz Tonic craft pick. Love this thing. It's great for poking out if you do a die cut and there's little pieces left. It's great for poking those out. It's great for, I've used it to pick up small pieces. I've used it. The one thing I will definitely say about this is it's not a unitasker. I do not use it just for cards. I use it for opening packages, opening pill bottles when they have the foil inside. I poke it with this and then kind of dig around and then I can open it. The one thing to be careful of is I poke myself a lot with it, so definitely be careful with that. But this tool is great. You can also use it for use it for if you need to make punctures in your cards. It's great for that. It's a really very useful tool. I use it a lot. I highly recommend having one. My CutterBee scissors. I love these. These have a nice sharp point. They're good sharp scissors. The funny thing is, this is my little tool caddy cup. As you can see, I have other scissors in here, and my nephew is always asking to borrow a pair of scissors. And he knows not to use the yellow ones, because I want to keep these as sharp as possible, so that if I do need to do fussy cutting, which I absolutely hate, these are ready to go. For doing ribbons, for doing twine, anything like that, these are my go-to scissors. All my other scissors get dull, and that might be because my nephew borrows them on a regular basis, but I really do love the CutterBee scissors. The next thing is kind of a 2-in-1. I have my mini Misti, which I really love. I really like my mini Misti, but sometimes it doesn't work for everything, and that's what the next thing's for. The one wonderful thing about the mini Misti is if you're trying to position stamps to re-stamp with, it's great. If you're doing a project where you have several of the same thing, like I just did these little dinosaurs, and I did a couple of them. So of course I did it on my mini Misti so that I could place everything in the right positions and then stamp, put the next card in, and stamp again. And I love it for that. However, sometimes I want to do scatter stamps where I don't want things placed in a particular spot, or when I stamp the back of my cards, putting them in the mini Misti each time is a little time consuming. So I use my Sizzix stamper pad, and it works wonderful. You just put whatever you're going to stamp on it, take your ink, your stamp, and then stamp. And because it's a nice piece of foam, you get a nice, clean, clear stamp. That's why I stamp on the back of each of my cards. Which, another thing that's kind of a side, I always keep a container of baby wipes. The Babyganics baby wipes are my go-to baby wipe for cleaning off my stamps. I can grab one, and easily clean off my stamp. They haven't been a problem with any of my stamps. The ingredients are all safe as far as my research has shown. There's nothing in them that should affect the stamps. So I could be wrong on that. You can let me know if I am. But I've been using them for, I've been doing this for over 2 years now, so I haven't had any problem with these. I love them. And I can get them at Target, but you can also, get them different places. This is my cutting mat. And it works well. I don't love it, but I think you still need to have some kind of cutting mat. The one that I really like, I kind of destroyed. So this is the one I'm using now. The funny thing is, whenever I put something on the cutting mat to try and use the guides to get things straight, they always come out a bit more crooked than if I had just tried to use my eyes to line it up. So I try not to do that, but it's really good for having underneath if I need to use the X-Acto knife or something of that nature. My scoreboard. This is another thing that gets used on every single card. This is the Martha Stewart scoreboard because it happened to be on sale at Michael's when I needed a scoreboard. And I had a coupon, of course. I use this on every single one of my cards. If you haven't used a scoreboard, it's a pretty simple piece of equipment. You pretty much put down your whatever is you need to score and just run your score pin down, and then you can fold easily. Like I said, I use it on every single card, so it's definitely something that has gotten a lot of use. Now, one of the biggest things are my cutting boards. I have two. The Fiskars is the one I bought first, and I like it, but the biggest problem was it only goes nicely to 3 inches. If I want to do something that's 4 inches, things would, it has this arm that folds out, and things would move. So then I'd get kind of a weird cut. And so I wanted something that could do a larger cut without a problem, which is why I bought this one, because I can cut up to 9 inches without having a problem. The problem with this one, because no cutting board can apparently do everything. This one, anything smaller than 2 inches is really hard to cut. So anything that I want to cut in the inch and a half, or if I just want to take off a quarter of an inch, this one doesn't work all that well. So then I pull out my Fiskars cutting board. And that's why I have two cutting tools. I'm sure there's a solution for both of those, but this works for me. So number 10 would be my Cricut cutting tool. And it's actually behind my camera. I would turn it around, my camera here. If I can turn my camera around. There. That's my Cricut Explorer 1. And I use it on almost every card. There are some cards that are just purely stamped, but for the most part, that gets used for a lot of my cards. So on the dinosaur card, to cut out these hearts, I actually use that. I do also have a die cutting machine, and I do cut out things with my die cutting machine, but it's limited, and the Cricut gives me a lot more options. When I first started out, I didn't want to buy a ton of dies. I wanted to be able to do as much as I could without that. And before this, I had done a lot of web design, so I knew that if I had something that was computer based, I could pretty much do whatever I wanted, and that's what this is. So it gets used on, it's definitely gets used on every card, pretty much. There's cards that don't use it, but they're far and few between. So that would pretty much be my top 10 list of things that I feel I need to have, that I use on pretty much every card. I'm sure there's more around here, and if you saw anything on my desk that you're interested in, that you would like to know more about, please let me know. Please leave a comment. I would love to know what I could tell you about. I know there are other things that I use on a regular basis that I will try and get to and tell you about as I go on. And now that it's a new year, one of my resolutions is to be making these videos more regularly. So I hope you want to see me more. So make sure to subscribe, and that will encourage me to make more videos. And have a great day. I will see you again soon.